Hello, Ignite community. Today I'm doing an interview with Jennifer Eve, and she is our Illuminator today. So, this is our Ignite Illuminator series where we bring on people that have wisdom to share with us. And Jennifer is one of those people. When I went to an event for Taia Curl, who's also in our Ignite community, and it was her 50th birthday. And I didn't know Jennifer, but she got on stage at this kind of all talent on stage event and she read from some of her poems from this book, Rise, Queen, Rise, Jennifer Eve. No, that's not showing up really clear, but we're going to make sure you get the link to this book. You're going to fall in love with Jennifer. You're going to fall in love with her poems, as I did. So she stood on that stage and she shared two or three of her poems, and they went right to my soul. And I was like, I need to know this woman. So I went up and talked to her afterwards, and I said, I want to share your poems at my retreat, my women's retreat. I want to share your poems in my lighthouse circles. They speak to everything I believe, that we're healing and releasing layers that we've inhaled and absorbed as we come back into alignment and set our crowns on fire and rise in that alignment and in that power and light. And we've all inhaled and absorbed layers. So yours poems really speak to that, Jennifer. And I want to know just a little bit about how you came into this theme of these poems that you're writing and this power of these powerful poems that you've written.
Mm. Well, it's more like the theme. It's not so much theme. I guess the theme is my own living on earth as a woman and just the exploration. Like poetry for me is, I think I've come to honor it as a gift, like a real, like my version of a download, my version
Yes.
of knowing how to connect with source and use it for my own healing and growth and for others as well. And so I discovered early on, like in my early 20s, that for me, when I was feeling emotions, they were just kind of jumbled up and difficult to dissect and discern. And when I put a pen to paper, this something would come out that clarified what I was feeling. Yeah, it was like a beautiful download. It clarified what I was feeling, and it felt just, it satisfied my creative, artistic soul as well. And I just started piling up poems and memorizing them, and they've been living in me, and they've been my way to process emotions and to make sense of like what's going on in me, what's going on in the world, what's going on, yeah, like for others too, and I started to feel that it resonated. And then my personal journey of healing, it took me on a very deep dive. Like I think my soul was here to face a lot of shadows in this life, like the final deep dive to really become as clear as possible. And so the poems are really documenting like the deep dive, a very confusing, challenging time, and then beginning the healing journey and finding love for myself, finding vulnerability, finding trust, finding love, like, and just healing. So that's the theme is like soul evolution, I guess.
Love it.
Yeah.
Soul evolution. And I think that that's just a continual process that just as we go deep and we do that shadow work and we revisit those wounds and we move through the pain and we figure out how to express it and we actually release ourselves from the story and we rise into the truth of who we are, and it is like a spiral,
Yeah.
and we have to go around that spiral several times as we spiral up and out. And so the first poem that hit me when you were on stage, and the first poem that I have read in my circles and in my retreat is We Heal in a Spiral. So could we hear that from you?
Yeah. Yeah, that is a really special poem to me for that same reason, realizing after a certain amount of decades on Earth, you realize, oh, I get it. You just keep coming back to that same feeling, but you're looking at it from a different perspective, hopefully, and that shows that you're healing or growing because it's got less of a sting to it, or you can
Yeah.
manage it with more maturity. And then eventually, some of them you don't have to revisit some of those things because you really have
Yeah.
cleared the charge or whatever, the learning
Yeah.
curve around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is called I Heal in a Spiral. I heal in a spiral, slowly ascending to heaven. I heal in a spiral, giving me opportunity to revisit the same wounds with a fresh perspective. I heal in a spiral to lovingly see how far I've come.
Mm.
I heal in a spiral because it is much stronger than a straight line. And I heal in a spiral to be certain that my hard won lessons have created true inner strength.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful, so powerful, so true.
Yeah.
When we sometimes we say, "Oh, well, I already healed that," and we're
Yeah.
like, because
Yeah.
we healed a part of it,
Yeah.
and then it was over here for a while, and then it was way over there for a while, and then it
Yeah.
spiraled back here,
Right.
and then we're like, "Oh no," but we're like, "Oh yes, I have more available to this healing now
Yeah.
than I did the first time, or the third time, or the fifth time,
Hmm.
or whatever, however long it takes." And I really think that as we do this inner work, we're releasing old chains of pain that our ancestors, they inadvertently passed on some chains, some ways of being,
Yeah.
some beliefs, because they wanted us to be strong and be safe and survive.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't mean to pass on the level of pain and constriction that it created in us.
Yeah.
And so I think that when we heal, I really imagine, and I really know this sometimes to be a powerful experience of them being with us.
Yeah.
And they want us to be free. They want us to be healed. They want us to have more available to us than they had.
Absolutely.
And so when we heal, we're healing for the past, we're
Mm,
healing for the ancestors, we're healing for ourselves, we're healing for everybody in our world, and we're healing for the future grandchildren that aren't even here yet.
exactly. Yeah. I feel that exact same thing. And I think this last chapter in my book is moving into my 50s, and it's all this intergenerational healing and realizing that, I'm the bridge. Like, I feel like many of us in this generation are the bridge from the old world. We were raised, you know, like I really honor now that my grandmother, my great grandmother, and down that line, like it was a different life and it was a painful, challenging life. And they did not have the luxury to stop and feel and process the death of their child, the this, the that. Like you just move on. And for me, I often think about my great grandmother who, gets on a ship from Poland in the early 1900s and loses one of her children while on the train with her other child to meet my great grandfather. Her child passes away, but she's just arrived in a new country in the middle of winter in Edmonton.
Mm.
And what do you do? Like, and so I always feel like that grief in the lungs, which she passed away from lung cancer and never smoked, that grief gets passed to my grandmother and she raises my mother. And then I embody this. And I've said through so many poems, like, I'm carrying a weight that's way bigger than the lifetime I've lived. Like, there's
Yes.
a grief that I've been processing that's lightening over time. And when we talk about having a privileged life now, for me the privilege is that we get to stop, slow down, and feel the
Yes.
thing that we've been running from because it's just there was no space. Like
Yeah. There
couldn't
was no
be
time to honor. There was no time. There was just survival, survival, survival.
possible.
And now as we honor and we feel and heal, we actually honor and release the for the past, for the lineage in the past, for ourselves and for the future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a poem maybe I should be sharing called The
Okay.
Bridge. Yeah.
We're ready for
It's
another poem.
perfect. Yeah. It's called The Bridge. I am here to rewrite a story that began so long ago I didn't realize I was in it. A tale that began in a century, in generations so lost that I don't even know their names, their smiles, their pains. but I know that they're mine now too. And I play many characters in this tale: the damsel, the victim, the heroine, the whore. But more important than any of those roles, I am the bridge that spans lifetimes before me of intuitive memory, of repressed voice, of closed throat, of silent tears, of terrorizing fears, of not enough, of too much, of clenched jaw, of stifled rage, of loneliness, emptiness, and grief, of unbearable pain that had nowhere to go but down into the guts, the bones, the marrow, the cells, the tissues. I am the bridge that will face these issues. And I see that when I pull the thread, what begins to unravel is 1,000 years of unprocessed pain and shame. And I am here with a mission to feel it, honor it, love it, forgive it, and free it, so it may become healed and integrated. And as the bridge, the souls before me may ride delicately upon my back, for they did everything in their power to support me. And the souls ahead of me may look back with love and admiration over this bridge and see the painful fear that was transmuted into a sea of love, and feel stronger for knowing that they come from a lineage of women who heard the call to rise. And because of this, each soul will finally be able to feel freely.
Oh my God. It's powerful. Makes me teary with the truth and power in it.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a perfect poem on this last full moon of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As we've been in the year of the snake and shedding and healing and releasing and spiraling, and having contrast and clarity about things right here that are painful, that we don't want. And when we get that, we have to move through it, feel it and heal it. We can't just jump over it. You can't jump from pain to joy.
No.
It's, you've got to honor the pain and feel and heal and move through it. And then it does shift. It does shift. And we are the bridge. We are the bridge. You are the bridge. I love that so much. And I know that the spiral will continue, but at the same time, there's a new energy coming
Mm.
to support us in moving forward with our alignment.
So ready for it. So ready
So
for this
ready
new.
for it.
I was thinking, like, I decided to put this book together. I started to, like, I had a publisher by February of this beginning of this year. And it really was like, when I look back, the amount of shedding, the amount of moments that I came up against. Who am I to do this? How could I do this? What if it fails? All these things. And I'm taking a huge leap because I've let go of an old version of myself with an old career, and I want to step into this entirely new thing. And I was just clinging to the last bits of
Yeah.
whatever was holding me there, and letting go of so many, like, I had so many dark nights of the soul this past year. Just like, just do it, just trust, just let go, just, you've got
Yeah.
this, like, over and over and over. So it's such a joy to be feeling the energy and reading about this full moon. And it's like the final, like, shed that old story, the old version of you, and there's a new timeline, and, like, rise, rise, rise into this
Rise,
new.
queen, rise, king,
Yeah.
rise.
Yeah.
Like not power over, but power aligned within
Yeah.
and full self-expression of that.
Yeah.
That is from a healed place and a grounded place and a true place, and that it's unique to everybody what that is. But like I love how you worked through your dark night of the soul, many of them, and you questioned yourself, like, am I good enough? Who am I? And I think we all question that. We all have those voices like that, we're either too much or we're not enough, or who am I? These things that hold us back. And we've inherited that.
Yeah.
And And then as you move through it and you claim your desire and you move through the fear into the expansion, here we are holding Rise Queen Rise, which
Yeah.
is like such a gift to all of us.
Mm.
And the it's like as you rise, we rise, as I rise, I inspire others to rise. So it is not selfish. It is
No.
not it's not coming from a ego place. It's rising with our true expression, and that is a gift that ripples out. And as we give permission, like as we wear our crown and and show our truth and shine brighter, we give permissions for others to do the
Others.
same.
Exactly. And like a huge piece for me when I think of the queen or the king is us becoming our own sovereign leaders. Like we're
Yes.
living in just the wildest of times, and to give your power away, it's so dangerous because it's hard to trust people's intentions out there in the world and the government and the various plans out there. So for me, it's this process of sourcing my own, intuition and wisdom and experiences through my own queendom, which for me is
Yes.
my soul. And my soul is made up of how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, how I'm acting. And the more I become clear and in charge of how I'm thinking or feeling or acting, rather than doing it, just out of an kind of like an autopilot of old
Yeah.
habits, that to
Mhm.
me is like, I'm continuing to become more sovereign, and I create a queendom where I can reign as the queen. And so, yeah, it's about each of us creating that for ourselves, and each of us rising into our own sovereign power and changing the world.
Beautiful.
To me, that's what the new earth is shifting to, that we're each these powerful sovereign human beings who are healing. Not necessarily, like we've said, there isn't an end point where we're healed, but when we're healing, we can meet these challenging moments with grace, with humility. We've all acquired this incredible toolbox now of healing modalities, and we know what works for us. So when we come up against the stress and the challenges or whatever it may be, we're meeting it with more integrity and more groundedness. And to me, that's what this new leadership and new earth is looking like.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah.
My version of that I'm really passionate about. I've been a psychotherapist for over 3 decades, working in trauma, working in Indigenous communities, working in schools, working in child sexual abuse society for a long time. I've done a lot of things, and I think essentially I've been trying to heal the planet age 3 to 93 for over 3 decades, and I've loved every minute of it. I mean, almost every minute of it. It's been hard, but it's been extremely rewarding. But at this time, I am kind of changing my focus to the women.
Mm.
I know the men need it too. I'm married to a beautiful man for over 3 decades, and I know the men need it too. But I've just, with my energy and my light at this point, I'm going to focus on the women.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to rise as the queens that they are. And I'm using the lighthouse because the lighthouse can't stop the storm, can't change the wind, can't tell the captain not to run into the rocks. It can't rescue every single boat out there. It just cannot. It knows its place. It is grounded there. It knows its alignment. It knows its purpose. It knows how to reset its light. And its number one job is to cultivate and protect its light. So I've used it as my own personal icon for a long time, but I want us all to be our own lighthouse. And essentially, I see that lighthouse glowing, and that crown chakra is lit up with all the chakras. All of them are aligned, and all of them are open. And we're releasing all the old messaging that has kept us small or heavy or dim or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're aligning all those chakras within that is our crown chakra on the top, shining as bright as possible in the direction that you want to shine your light in. Not all the directions, but in the direction that you want to shine your light in. And the women, I know the men are do this too, but I'm still speaking to the women here. They take that back to their children, their neighbors, their their family, their partners, their coworkers, their village. They feed the entire village. And it's from a place that is full and aligned and grounded rather than, an overextended, depleted place. And so that's what I hear when I see this crown, when I see this rise, queen rise. That's what I see is I see it in you, Jennifer, and I'm so grateful for this gift of these words and your process through the shadow, through the dark night of the soul, many of them, through all of the doubt, through all of the questioning, into something that is so beautiful and so inspiring. And it wakes us up, all
Mm,
of us. It wakes us up. And we say, oh, I relate. I've been there too. And that's the gift of you rising and sharing it.
mm. I love that so much. I really, really love that. I feel like as I get older and make peace and and honor the gifts that I have, then I feel comfortable being one of these, like being a lighthouse for myself and also possibly for others who are just looking around wondering, what to do once you start awakening. And
Yeah.
for me, I love how in life the thing you were most afraid of is the thing that's typically your superpower. So I
Yes.
was like the most closed-hearted young child and teenager and person in my 20s and even into my 30s and 40s. Like vulnerability was just the most awful, disgusting thought. Like it gave me like a physically challenging reaction. It was just no. And now I've flipped it 180 and I feel it, the ease of being vulnerable, the healing that it's given me.
Wow.
And so the book is like I'm putting it all out there and I've processed a ton of shame. Like I've had my life has been beautifully orchestrated to create like some very epic situations that anyone would feel like, whoa, can't believe you had to deal with that. And I've dealt with many of them. So in that process, I feel freed to bear it all. And I think that's what I've come to feel is the superpower. Like it's not putting on any front like I don't go through things and I'm not still healing, but it's the power is to be vulnerable and and face those challenging moments and the shame and just keep coming back to like this deep self-love that was the most foreign concept in the world to
Yes.
me like 6 years ago. It was the most foreign concept to me when I first
Yeah.
left my partner of 19 years and had lived such a challenging relationship for so many years. It was so foreign. I was like, what just happened? Who am I? How do I make sure I never do that again? And I
Wow.
thought I already thought I was on a spiritual path, ironically, and I was, but it like you said, healing is in layers. So I hadn't
Yes.
tapped into some of the deepest layers that were calling me. I had, I was moving through things, but not the way it started about 6 years ago. Then it was
And
real.
and I think that that's really powerful because I think that, especially like if we only look at social media, it's all mask and veneer, it's all highlights, it's all perfection, it's all edited. And that's not the truth of being human on this planet. The truth is, we're all wounded. The truth is, we've all had our hearts broken. The truth is, we've all questioned ourselves. And the truth is, we've all grieved and we are in a process of being really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And and if we put on the veneer and the mask, we actually feel so isolated
Mm-hmm.
that we are the only one going through these dark nights of the soul. We are the only one who has lived this depth of pain. And what happens, I mean, and it's in your book, it's in your poetry. It's like because you were vulnerable here, because you put it out in such a relatable way, even though nobody has lived your exact story, because we've all got a completely different, well, there's themes, there's threads, but they're all unique
Yeah.
in their own way. So even though nobody's lived your exact story and walked through your exact same steps to get to where you are as the queen that you are, that is rising and healing, your words are so relatable to
Mm-hmm.
every human being because we've all walked through the dark night of the soul. We are all in a deep healing process. We are all releasing chains of pain that we inherited and absorbed. We've all got these messages here that we can't just step over them, but we need to untangle from them.
Yeah.
And when we feel less alone and we feel met, it's a big piece of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And
My
sometimes that's meeting ourselves in the mirror, and sometimes it's holding hands
Yeah.
and being vulnerable with others.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. I know for my soul, I had a lot of like my process of waking up had a lot of like a ton of resistance, a lot of negative self-talk, and a lot of um, yeah, just a lot to untangle. And whenever I saw someone who appeared to have it all together and I could hear their real story, that they went through the pain and had to untangle and had the negative thoughts, and like then it gave me hope, like, okay, if they could do it, I can do it. I
Exactly.
needed to see someone real make it through for me to know that I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a Fringe play this weekend or this summer that really stuck with me. And it was basically I can't remember the exact name of the play, but it was a Fringe festival play. And when you stood in line, you were greeted by people who said, "Yeah, I'm effed up too." and and they greeted you and said, "Welcome, welcome, you too. You're effed up too. Oh, this is the place where we could be in effed up together in community. The worst thing we can do is say that we're fine when we're not, because then we feel isolated and alone. So welcome to the community where you are welcome in all of the allness of who you are, and that includes being effed up." And then it went from there, and they had us they gave out little recipe cards, and we were to write a confession of how effed up we were, and then they shared them, and we laughed and we celebrated, and they shared a couple of actors shared some really tragic stories, one about sexual assault and one about racism, true stories. And yet it was done in this way of, we all have wounds, we all have pain, we have all walked through painful dark times, and and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're in it together. We are shadow and light. We are the allness of all of it. And our vulnerability and truth is what actually helps us to heal.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm.
So do you have a poem that comes to mind,
I do.
um,
Yeah.
that you'd love to share with us before we end here?
Yeah. I think that it was hard for me to choose. There's so many, but while we're talking, I'm thinking it's called Unexpected Soul Dive. And a couple of years ago, I wrote it. I was same idea. Like you think you've cleared an issue or you've moved through something challenging, and it came back around, but I wasn't ready for it, and it kind of this negative feeling that had bothered me in the past came back, and I was unexpectedly met with it. So I wrote a poem to go through it. Unexpected Soul Dive. I was swimming deep in my subconscious, yet unaware I was there. So naturally, I was startled when old fears arose to bite at my toes from under the waves of the dark black sea. I wanted to push them back through the frothing waves. Try as I might, the wish was futile. I had no choice but to let them remain, swimming around in my foggy brain. If I latched on to just one for long enough, down I would go. But instead of taking that old journey of self-loathing and pity all the way to the bottom of my subconscious sea, I shed some tears and spoke my truth and shared my thoughts and told old stories and felt the fear and held my heart and stayed in love with my tender, sweet self.
Mm.
And through the nights and days it lasted, I somehow trusted that this would pass. And like a cloud on a windy day, one moment I was tormented, and the next it was lifted away. And lightness returned to my once heavy heart. And in the days that have passed since my subconscious swim, I've come to understand just what happened. I took a wild deep dive I hadn't expected and was met with many demons I thought I'd rejected. And now I see that rejecting them is not enough to make them disappear. In fact, it guarantees they will revisit and whisper in your ear. And each time they come, the opportunity is the same. Will I love and embrace them or reject them in shame?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's related to the work that I do on, we all have this village inside. There's the hurt ones and the ones that are carrying the shame and the ones that are carrying the anger and the ones that feel rejected and abandoned, the critical ones, there's just all kinds of characters in this village in here. And if we ignore them, they get louder.
Yeah.
And if we ignore them, they show up out there. Oh, it's her fault. It's his fault. It's that. If only da 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 da. And it's really when we harness the skill, which is it takes time to harness the skill of coming back inward and talking with love to each and every one of those little voices. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I know you're angry. I honor that. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I know you're scared. I honor that. What do you want to tell me? What do you need? I'm more available now to love you and honor you than I've ever been before. And it's taken me a while to get here, but I'm here now. So, whatever it is, if I can come back to that, and there's lots of things that we can do to help us with that. And I think your poems help us with that, Jennifer. And I thank you. I thank you so much. I can't wait to celebrate with your book launch in Victoria. But before we get to that one, you've got one coming up in Cumberland this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, this Sunday at the Abbey in Cumberland. And it's going to be a spoken word performance, and I'm going to have some dancers dancing interpretive dance to some of the poetry, and then I'll be DJing a little bit, and we're selling books, and I have a real love of fashion, and I've collected a lot of clothing, and not all of it suitable for me, so I've created a clothing line called Eve's Closet Couture.
Oof.
And just putting the tags on the clothes right now. It's so much fun. So that, and I have a lovely friend doing a healing elixir bar, and she's making a signature drink called Rise Queen Rise.
Oh, I
It's
love
going to be
that.
so much fun. So we're going to do that same festival or same event down in Victoria, January 25th at the
January
Church of
25th at the
Truth.
Church of Truth,
Yep. And then
6
Salt
to
Spring
9.
Island, yep, 6 to 9 is the event time. And then I'll be on Salt Spring Island, and I'll be at the Duncan Showroom in Cowichan in February. And I'm going to put all these dates up on my website. And then I'm going to go to the interior, Vancouver, and then all the way to Nelson and do some things in the spring, touring around.
Oh, I can't wait to be there and celebrate with you and hug you in person.
Thank you so much. I've been so grateful for how you received my poetry and like felt them the way I want them to be felt. Like I could just,
Mm,
it's I think the final piece as a writer, as a poet is like sharing it and having it resonate to the degree I feel it in myself is just like
yeah.
the full circle satisfaction that I long for.
Well, I loved your poems so much that I have my own copy signed by you. And I even agreed to do them on consignment. And I sold a few at my retreat on Pender Island. And I've got a few more copies. And I just want to support you in this work. I think that you are speaking the voice of the people, of the human soul, and the spiral of the healing journey that we're all in, and the alignment and sovereignty that we're all claiming for ourselves. And it's a process and it's a journey. And I think that your poems can help us along the way. So what's say your website out loud, and I'll make sure it's in the notes as well. But how do people find you?
Yeah. eveofglobalgrace.com. Yeah.
eveofglobalgrace.com.
Yeah.
And the dates for those and the upcoming, and there'll be new ones to come if
Yeah.
you're in Vancouver and beyond. There'll be new dates to come. But I love how you're putting together your love of fashion, the interpretive dance, the poetry, and your music and DJing and making it an event. It's going to be quite something. So
Yeah.
I'll be there for sure.
Excellent. I can't wait to see you there. Excellent.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. I love that the synchronicities came together to bring us together and to have this interview on the last full moon
Yeah.
of 2025. And let's rise, Queen, rise in
Let's do it.
2026.
I'm with you. Thank you so much. It's a real honor to be
Oh,
here.
stop.